Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Culture changers, players that brought the 49ers out of the dark ages. There's two that come to mind. In 2017 when Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch came onto the 49ers scene, there were two players that were brought in that first year that are still with the 49ers and I think are responsible for changing everything. And that's George Kittle, first and foremost. And then number 29 on our 49ers roster countdown this year, Kyle Juszczyk, the juice, baby. The offensive weapon, the do-it-all, super smart guy with an amazing wife, and her publicity is going to probably far surpass his, which is crazy because he's played for so long in the NFL, going into his 13th season. But those two players, and Kyle Juszczyk, team captain, Pro Bowler, perennial Pro Bowler, they changed everything. This idea of being a horrible team and just no postseason success and just, man, those Chip Kelly and I don't even want to go through all the coaches since Harbaugh, it's been awful. These are the two players that I credit, and especially that 2017 season, you want to throw in Fred Warner the following year. I get that. But these were the players that came in to bring about culture change. Now, nobody expected George Kittle to be that. Kyle Juszczyk was kind of the picture-perfect first, free agency signing, and they brought in 7 big-time free agents, that offseason. But Kyle Juszczyk's still here. And going into his NFL 13th season, he is, 2025, and then 2026, he'll be a decade Niner. He wasn't drafted by the 49ers. He was drafted by the Ravens. But he could be him and George Kittle, the first decade-long 49er player since Joe Staley. They were teammates with Joe Staley, right? And that's a big deal for 49ers fans and players and the culture. Like, if you've ever been inside the 49ers locker room, there's a wall dedicated to 10-year, decade-long 49ers players. It's such a big damn deal. And so I want Kyle Juszczyk to get it. George Kittle's going to. They just redid his deal. But Kyle Juszczyk is, I don't think he's like a top 10 Niner or even really, maybe even a top 20 Niners position. So nuanced. Like, he's not out there all the time. Fullback, offensive weapon, what is he? But like, this guy, you can't measure what he brings to a team, what he brings to a locker room, the consistency, the just culture. That is juice. I love this man. And this is the lowest he's ever been on our countdown. This is the 5th year. He was 14th in 2022. He was 21st in 2023. He was 20th last year. This year, 29. And this is on the back end of, a pay cut last year, got cut this year, almost went, to the Steelers, and then chose to come back for the culture and just how much he loves his team. He's left money on the table to be a part of this team. Like, what else do you want? Yeah, his stats aren't great, and they're never going to be great. He's a damn fullback. Wears jersey number 44, and I would argue the greatest 44 ever. Rathman had better stats in the Super Bowls, but, man, he's played longer. I love Rathman. I can't say that. I love both of them. We did a full episode, greatest 44 ever. The Super Bowls, the stats are definitely with Rathman. Kyle Juszczyk, though, deserves to be mentioned up there. That's what I should say. Correct my previous statement. Some people just got really upset. 6'1", 235, 34 years old, still playing strong. Ran a 4.7 40, 6'9" 3-cone. Change of direction is great. 37 vert, 10-1 broad jump, 24 bench press reps, 13 seasons. From Lodi, Ohio, went to Cloverleaf High School. And then, of course, I don't know if you've ever heard this, went to Harvard, which is talked about almost every single broadcast. Nickname's Juice. This used to be a horrible thing. Is anytime I had to spell Juszczyk, I started in 2017. Like, we're almost me and Kyle came in 101. But used to spelling Juszczyk was a nightmare. I'm dyslexic. I'm not very good at these things, but now I've got it down pat. The Juszczyk, and that's how I say it every single time I type it, and it gets me through it. It's just Z's after everything. You know what I mean? Earned 6 letters, speaking of letters, in high school with 3 separate sports. Numerous positions, and football was the basketball point guard, track and field, throwing events, 2-year team captain in football, like everything and, led his high school in rushing and receiving, honor society, mathlete, you name it. His uncle, I didn't know that this until recently, Dickie Moore played for the Green Bay Packers. Like, of course, Kyle Juszczyk's uncle was Dickie Moore. How cool is that? He was a 2-time All-American at H-back, kind of that versatile position, 3-time All-Ivy League. You don't get to say that often. And finished with Harvard's all-time leader among tight ends in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, you name it. Dude just rewrote the history books there. And, he gets drafted in the 4th round, pick 130 of the 2013 draft. Like, this was before I covered sports, right? Like, I mean, obviously, I was coaching at the time, whatever else, but yeah, I loved it. He went 1 pick in the draft before Marcus Lattimore. You remember South Carolina? Like, everybody loved Marcus Lattimore. The all-ACL team never really was able to rebound from that horrific injury. But, again, like, Marcus Lattimore hadn't played football in 12 years. This dude's still ticking. Same round as Mac Barkley, the quarterback, Akeem Spence, Alex Okafor, David Bakhtiari, J.C. Treader, William Golston. Like, what a draft. And if you go back the entire draft in general, Kyle Juszczyk has the 2nd most Pro Bowls of anybody in that draft. Travis Kelce has him by 1. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, gets drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, plays out his rookie deal there. The 49ers pay him big time, and is the highest paid fullback. 4-year, $21 million deal, highest paid fullback in NFL history when the 49ers brought him in. But you had to overpay. Remember, like Pierre Garçon, Malcolm Smith, a lot of those free agency that you brought in, you had to pay. We were a terrible team. Nobody wanted to come here. Now it's different because people want to come here to rehab their career and try to get paid elsewhere. It just times have changed since 2017 to 2025. He was the the 2017 Bill Walsh Award winner, which is just awesome. Voted on by the coaching staff and given to the 49ers that best represents the standard of professional excellence that was established by the great Bill Walsh. How badass is that? His favorite pregame meal, one of my favorite questions with players. Listen to this. This is filet mignon, sweet potatoes with spaghetti and scrambled eggs. He says, quote, the perfect combination of protein and the right carbs before a game. Absolute team leader, amazing. Married Kristen back in 2019, and now, like, I can honestly say, like, her jackets and, Taylor Swift and all these celebrities wearing them, whatever else, we've had Hall of Famers come to the 49ers Rush Road Trip events. And, hey, if you haven't come yet, come on. 49ers Rush Road Trip this year. We're doing every single away game besides LA. Go to the TickPick app, type in 49ers Rush. All of our events are there. Day before events, tailgates for every away game. Don't go to away games unless you're going to be part of the faithful. We got you covered on that end. And if you use promo code Niners, Niners, you get $10 off of our events. That's what's there. Come on, guys. Go support. Come out, whatever. But we've had Hall of Famers, greats, come out. I've never seen, this is a little bit of an indictment, grown men turn into middle school girls more than when Kristen Juszczyk and Claire Kittle showed up to one of our events. Like, they totally just Chapman, you gotta introduce me. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, no, I'm not doing that. They're just here to say what's up. But yeah, it was hilarious just seeing grown men. They act different. And Christian Juszczyk, Claire Kittle are amazing. Obviously, I don't know them personally, but it was cool when they showed up. And yeah, just grown men just folded. Absolutely gorgeous, amazing human beings. But it's interesting, just the way people act around people like Kyle Juszczyk, Kristen Juszczyk, Claire Kittle, and George Kittle, who incredible. The team, the fan, everybody loves these people so much, so much. Now, the football side of everything, his snaps have decreased in 4 straight seasons. 2021, 809 snaps. 2022, 728. 2023, 654. Last year, 554. It's a smaller role, and thus the pay cuts, thus the, hey, man, if you got to go, you got to go. We'd like to have you back, but we're not going to be able to pay you much. All those different things, restructured his deal, all those things, quote, love for the team and area, end quote, brought me back. Like, he wants to be here. I think that's huge. And again, if he stays for these 2 years, which he is signed through, will be a decade-long Niner. And I just hope that happens. Veteran, pillar of the community, just 9 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. Come on, man. Like, this guy just changes so much. And, like, you have to understand, the stats for a fullback aren't great. You look at his career, 281 receptions, 2,600 plus receiving yards, 18 touchdowns, only 67 carries in his entire career. But, this is important. Yeah, his snaps are going down, but last year had his highest ever yards per rush attempt with 5.2 yards per carry. Didn't run the ball a lot, but still. And tied for his highest yards per reception with 10.5 of the last 5 years of his career. So, it's not like his efficiency is going down. That's not the case. And, for the people that are just your stat watchers, they check the box score and then they come up with their conclusions. They don't watch the games. They don't understand. Let me just tell you, as a defensive coach, which is what I consider myself, I've coached both sides, head coach, whatever. I consider myself if I could be anything, I'd be defensive coordinator. That was my favorite time. The amount of time that you have to go through when preparing for a team with a fullback that uses a fullback for 500 plus snaps a year is completely different than when you're playing other teams. You have to go through a different offensive, stopping offensive run game install. Your defensive run gaps change. Your passing numbers change. Your personnel groupings change. You have to put in extra calls on the goal line when the fullback's in versus out. I'm telling you right now, it shows up in ways that don't show up in the stat or box score because defensive coordinators hate, man, we have to put in a whole new package when that damn fullback's out there, number 44, that we're not used to. The NFL is dissolving the fullback position, but just the threat of that 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end, it changes everything. It creates an extra gap on every single run fit. It changes things. It makes it so difficult. It's the zig when other teams zag type thing, and Kyle Shanahan's the best at it. He really, really is. Juszczyk's under a 2-year, $7.5 million contract. $3.4 million of it's guaranteed. He has a $2.5 million cap hit this year and a $2.6 million cap hit next year if cut or released. I do not want him cut or released. He just helps. He helps. You want pass protection on third down, he can do it. You want somebody who can play running back, he can do it. You need fullback over on the goal line, he can do it. Is it anything electric or whatever else? No. And now the toe tap catches on the sideline 30 yards down the field. That's pretty badass for a fullback. Career earnings, $42.4 million. A lot of money, and he's leaving some of that on the table to be a part of the 49ers. 189 career games, 13 career playoff games. That's off the charts. And just provides so much extra for the 49ers. To have him in the locker room, the culture, the personality. He makes everybody feel better. Does that contribute to wins? I don't know. But I can say the 49ers have a winning culture now, and a lot of that has to do with the great Kyle Juszczyk. Thank you, Josh, who helped write this episode. And for us in the 49ers Rush team, we're just going to keep counting them down.